is new, this is the second episode, and we are here with a mission to equip you and to encourage you to plan to be your best as you navigate pain. Hi, I'm Rick Cram, and I created Plan to Be Your Best as you navigate pain based on three things in particular. And I'll share with you as we get into experiencing some of this approach to transforming your experience with pain into a journey of resilience and to thriving even with the pain. But I created it at the request of a corporate client, the Federal Home Loan Banks, about 12 years ago, based on decades of pain that I've experienced, as well as being a communications expert and also being a trained caregiver. And they wanted a program that, in effect, was what I needed as well, and others, and perhaps you're here to glean some goodness from it as well, because their management was going through a lot of pain, and they wanted an approach, some strategies and skills to lead themselves and others through the challenges that they're going through. How to lead themselves because they are suffering the pain as well as their teams were. So they needed to, how do we actually get through this no matter how tough things get? This has evolved over the past 12 years, especially since my seventh surgery on my left knee was a partial revision of the total knee replacement. And I've refined it to have it feature three key steps that helps to transform a moment from pain to resilience, and then how it integrates across 8 domains of thriving. We will touch on one particular aspect of the 3 steps of resilience. Tune in, that's the first step. The second step is plan. The third step is be your best. But tuning in, how do you tune in when you're in pain? Or even how do you tune in when you can't stop and pause? We'll get into 3 different ways to do it very effectively. And we'll do it in the theme of freedom. Today is the 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all of you in the US. Happy 4th of July. I hope you have a great day today. And if you're watching this as a recording, I'm glad you're here. Again, if we're connecting for the first time, I'm Rick Cram, the developer of Plan to Be Your Best as you navigate pain. And so let's talk about how to tune in, how to actually start to use the 3 steps of resilience in a way that's effective and helps you start to undo what pain has a powerful way of doing. That is hijacking our focus, sapping our energy, and frustrating our hope. Let me share with you, and I'm new here with using, I like Riverside a lot. The 3 steps of resilience. Let me see if I can show you a graphic that illustrates what that looks like. I'm a very visual person, so I like to create graphics that illustrate these 3 steps. And the reason why the 3 steps, the first one is to tune in, the second is to plan, and the third is be your best, is that it's often something that needs to happen over and over again. Sometimes it can be very effective to actually take one step and then the next, and then the next, and to effectively create that kind of pivot where you're winning back your sense of focus. You're starting to spark new positive energy and taking the pain and the fight of the pain and moving it forward. So this first question is, how do you tune in effectively? And it's often not easy. For example, there's one particular man I was caring for, with the Plan to Be Your Best approach. And fairly soon into the very first conversation we had, he acknowledged that he has a really difficult time hitting the brakes, hitting the pause button, slowing down, and being able to take this first step to tune in. The more we started talking and spending time peeling back the layers on it, he ended up realizing that he was actually doing it. He was in our conversation, in the back and forth, in the way that he was more and more sharing openly what he's experiencing and bringing to the surface questions that he's needed answers to, that answers that have been eluding him. He started to actually do exactly that, tuning in, slowing down. And he started to not only discover, but acknowledge and start to work through. The more we talked and over the course of the times that we were meeting, he was able to start practicing what it looks like to tune in. One of the one of the ways that any of us can tune in, and let me ask at this particular time, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, I'm here and to answer your questions. I'm coming to you from the Metro West Boston area on this 4th of July. If you're with me now, go ahead and I'd love to see where you're dialing in from. To use a very old-fashioned term, I'm dating myself by saying that. But where are you geographically? And if you would share a number on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy or difficult is it for you to pause and tune in to what you need to take that first step of the 3 steps of resilience? Um, what is the number? 10 would represent that you find that it's quite easy for you to hit the pause button and tune in and understand what you need. If it's a 1 or even a 0, that would represent that it's a very challenging experience for you to do that. What number would you say? Go ahead and put it in. And if you're watching this as a recording, go ahead and add it to the comments, because I'll come back and share more thoughts and answer your, um, I'll speak to and I'll care for the number that you put in there with some thoughts on what you can do to address that and raise that number over time. This is a matter of, and what we're about to get into is a matter of practicing. There is no perfection in pain management. There is no perfection, so to speak, when it comes to being resilient. It is something that's done over and over again. And both I've found through my journey of pain, my journey of resilience, the more I practice it, the more I'm creating positive patterns that become the easier go-to pattern when the negative or difficult or really challenging and overwhelming patterns are hijacking my focus and sapping my energy. This is meant to be done over and over again. And what I've found and what I know you'll find is that it's, even though there's no perfection in the pain management, it's in your practicing that you discover that your best is greater than the pain. Let me pause and just invite you 2 things. One, I go live every Sunday and every Friday. Sunday is those times together at 3 o'clock Eastern are always going to be like the anchor of our 2 live sessions each week. Friday, like today, is going to be, so let's revisit a particular skill and hone in on something that we can take into the weekend, start to practice and apply through the course of the following week. And also, let me share this free code with you. I'm a contributor on Cadre, CADRE. You can go to cadre.io, download the app, and use this code to use Cadre for free. It's a social platform. It's a community with contributors like myself for mental and emotional well-being. And you can use the code Rick Cram, all uppercase, RICKCRAM, and that'll give you free access to all the videos, all the content, all the contributors in the community through August 15th, 2025. So going back to the story with this particular man who was having a tough time slowing down, tuning in to both identify and validate what he needs in the moment. The more we actually talked about it, the more he was experiencing exactly doing that. It can be, especially when pain is overwhelming, whether it's sudden blasts of acute pain, which is most of what I experience, or if it's constant pain, it can be one of the most difficult thing, but it's a way of being deliberate and flexing that muscle called intentionality. You'll hear me often say that the greater the level of pain, it needs to be matched by the greater level of intentionality. But taking that first step, let's imagine doing it when you're on your own, because there are three different ways that you can do this and do it effectively. So if you're on your own, one of the best things to do is to do some deep breathing. Pause, get yourself even physically situated in a way where you're relaxed. Your feet are flat on the floor. Your hands perhaps are on your knees or they're holding them together. And just take some deep breaths and then ask yourself a question. And I've got a question for you today. It's one that we're discussing on Cadre and in some of my other videos I'll share with you. And it's this question. Ask yourself, what do you need to shed? And if you're with me now live, or if you're watching this as a recording, what word comes to mind? What thought might you need to shed in this moment, in this very moment? Or it might be something that is something that nagging you or coming up on a regular basis that you wish you could reverse, speak to, create a pivot away from, and so it's something healthier. When it comes to something to shed, it might be a thought, it might be an emotion, it might be a an activity, the way that time is being spent. It might be a person. In a recent Plan to Be Your Best conversation, small group conversation, someone said, sometimes I think about this question, what do I need to shed? And there's a person that comes to mind. They're a negative draw on my energy. It's not a positive contribution in this relationship. So he was entertaining the idea of shedding this relationship. In another Plan to Be Your Best conversation on Cadre, talking about this question, some of the different people attending shared very openly and bravely. And this is where it's really healthy to be bold. And bold is actually one of the 8 domains of thriving. That's part of the Plan to Be Your Best approach. They said everything from, I need to shed self-doubt. I need to shed having low or limited expectations of myself. These are so powerful. And actually, there's a source of strength to acknowledge in that kind of honesty. Because now that those have been identified, that's the beginning of being able to do something positive about it. And the good news is there are a variety of things that are positive that can be done about it. The more we talked about each of these different things, the more we were exchanging something that is so important in the mix of tuning in, and that was encouragement. The more I was sharing encouragement with them, acknowledging and validating what their answers were, they experienced this, and I know what this is like. Sometimes when I identify something that I need to address, I am validating it. I'm realizing there's something I can do about it. I'm realizing there is potential now. There is possibility to take something that might be something worth shedding and doing something new. So in the course of trying to tune in, sometimes asking a question is exactly the place to begin. And there are truly dozens of questions. It might actually be close to over 50 questions in the Plan to Be Your Best approach to help tune in. And sometimes it's a question that is going to be specific to a certain aspect or a certain dimension of your life, your social life, the mental dimension, the emotional dimension, the social dimension, the spiritual dimension. And some of these questions can apply to any one of these different dimensions. There are 8 dimensions of life, albeit often referring to them as we peel back the layers on this. So we just identified a few things here, including how tuning in is possible to do when you pause and ask yourself at least one question. It might simply be, what do I need in this moment? Which is a superb question. Another way to go about tuning in is to tune in with one other person Have a conversation. Do you have someone in your life, for example, who can have a real positive pain conversation, who is willing to be with you, who knows how to talk and listen to you with active listening skills, where they are acknowledging what you're saying, understanding what you're saying, and bring empathy into the mix. Again, if you're with me live, I invite you to share with me what is it that you tune when you tune into, and ask yourself, what do you need to shed? Just even if it's one word or a short phrase, what is it that you need to shed? And also, if you want to share with me where you are geographically, where you are, as well as even on the scale of 1 to 10, one being low, it's difficult for you to tune in. 10 is where you're confident and able to hit the pause button and focus in on what you need in the moment. Let me just check. I'm getting a question here, and let me see what it is. The actually, it's a good question. How do you find somebody to talk to? The few things to look for is someone who knows you. The better someone knows you, the better they're going to actually help you tune in. The more likely they are to be compassionate, bring empathy into a conversation. Someone who's willing to sit down, and maybe it's someone that you know very well. Maybe it's a relative, maybe it's a loved one, or maybe it's a friend. Perhaps it's even a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. And it's worth getting together, or having a phone call, or getting together online and spending some time together over a Zoom meeting. And give both of yourselves, some time to share and think through what do you need. Ask each other questions and have a conversation about it. I love to say it because I love this truth that resilience grows through conversation. It's having the conversation where you're exploring and experiencing what resilience looks like to you, your own unique resilience. I'm here for you as well. I am here as a resilience coach to show up for you, to share with you examples of what it looks like to listen, active listening with empathy and compassion and encouragement. I believe understanding is one of the things that people in pain need the most of. And to share with you and walk with you through the different parts of the 3 steps of resilience and the 8 domains of thriving. I am here for you, and I'm a holder of hope for you. As you may have heard at the beginning of the video, I've known pain for decades, since the age of 18 with a football injury, and with the 7 surgeries on my left knee, now living with daily pain. I get it. It's one of the reasons why also let me invite you to take a look at, on my website, rickcram.com, the Summer of Resilience. This is something that starts on July 9th. There are a variety of options for participating in this small group experience for 10 weeks to go through the plan to be your best as you navigate pain, and do it in a small group setting where you'll be with people who understand as well, who will actually have a chance to encourage you and to receive your understanding and your encouragement. If you go to rickcram.com, all the details are there. And if it looks like it's something that might be a match for you, then let's have a call. No cost, no obligation, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about other options, including if you want to meet one-on-one for the weeks ahead. There are different pricing options. There's the option to create your own group, where together we'll map out what the pacing is, what the schedule is, in a way that's going to be workable for you and your group. Again, this is the Summer of Resilience, and the details are at rickcram.com. So when it comes to talking with someone else, the very same things apply. Start peeling back the layers, beginning with a question, such as, what is it that you're experiencing? Ask the other person to would you listen to what I'm dealing with and help me sort through the different thoughts that I've got, the different feelings that I've got, the way I'm navigating this, because I'd value the chance to share it and to get your thoughts, and I'd appreciate your caring listening for a little while. Meeting one on one, something really dramatic happens, just like the man I was referring to at the beginning. We met one on one, and the more we shared about what it's like to go through pain, the more he was able to reveal things that he's never been able to share either with anyone else, nor give himself the chance to address it for himself. He's someone who experienced and was probably at the beginning of our meeting. Over time, he was probably around a 1 or a 2 in terms of having some ease or any ease. It was actually, there was no ease to it. It was very difficult for him to hit the pause button, tune into what he needs, and then to be able to go on into that next step of the 3 steps of resilience, to plan and then to think through, all right, now what can I do about it? The more we talked, the more that number went up. Virtually every time we got together, that number continued to increase. It became easier, and you ended up seeing the goodness that comes from it. Sometimes we need someone else to be able to take that very singular step of tuning in. Sometimes there's like an old-fashioned radio. It can be, if you're looking for 106.7 FM, you might get to 106.5, and you can start to hear some of that station, or 106.6. It's coming in, but there's a lot of static. Tuning in, when you are planning to be your best, you're able to get to that place eventually where you really are able to tune into 106.7 and gain an inner insight. That's what it really is. It's insight to what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What are the choices that I'm often making when I'm dealing with this pain, whatever the pain is? And again, it's the idea of, sometimes it's the primary source of pain that certainly needs care. For me, it's the knee, but there's this secondary array of sources of pain. It's the mental thought, the emotions, the emotional reactions to not only just a singular blast of pain, but the dozens of blasts of pain I might have in a day. Then the sort of a compounding, a compiling of each of those blasts of pain creates an emotional journey that I need to tune into. Yesterday, for example, I saw my pain management doctor, superb doctor, who is probably the most empathetic, most compassionate doctor I've ever met. And I ended up needing to see him after I'm in a new round of going through, and now that it's been 5 years, and I haven't been able to find an effective solution for this, to get relief from the pain. I'm going through a new round of talking to doctors and having conversations about things I never thought I would have even on the tip of my tongue or top of my mind. But we're looking at, and I'm going to move forward with a test, a trial of something called a spinal cord stimulator. They put 2 leads in my spine, and for maybe 10 days or 2 weeks, I'll live with the device outside of my back. It's small. It's about the size of maybe half the size of an iPhone, and it's a stimulation device. It's all designed to stop the neurological signals of pain going from my knee up to my brain. I understand that is effective for people with back pain in particular, and this trial will see if it's going to help me with my pain. If it is, then I would have this device surgically and permanently implanted in my back. So I'll be keeping you up to date in terms of, if I may, of exactly how I journey through this. But with the meeting yesterday, I needed to both tune into how I'm and sharing with the doctor what I'm experiencing, doing it in a way where I'm trying to put my some of my mental thoughts and my emotional experiences up on a shelf for a while. I was having numerous blasts of pain while there. It was difficult walking in and out of the hospital. And there's sometimes that's what helps the most of all, where I temporarily put on a shelf those emotions and the upsetting thoughts of the painful experiences so that I can be in the moment and really work effectively with my doctor on talking about this particular option with the spinal cord stimulator, and yet do it in a way where I've promised myself and I've promised those thoughts and those emotions that I will take you off the shelf and I'm going to validate them, care for them, and tune into them, and then care for them enough so that I'm going to take some positive steps and help me take the pain from all of that out. Take the pain of all that and move it forward. The There's that fight. For example, when I just felt that, I immediately tuned in. There's no denying it hijacks my focus. Pain does that. But I immediately, to focus on you, bring it forward and go with the flow so that I'm able to continue and if I may, show you an example of what my resilience looks like. On that note, the idea of your resilience, what and your just as your pain experience is very, very fully unique to you. Even if I was experiencing the same pain as you, I don't truly live it mentally and emotionally, or even spiritually, exactly as you do. Similarly, what works for me, what my resilience looks like, it isn't necessarily what your resilience is going to look like. Your best resilience is going to be your own unique resilience. The best way for you to thrive is your own unique approach to thriving. It's your answers to the questions, for example, within Plan to Be Your Best, questions about life. It's your questions that are going to reveal the true strengths and building the strengths within you to be on a path where you're going to be able to perpetually grow your own unique resilience and your own unique approach to thriving. That's what it means to say and to really embrace the idea that your best is greater than the pain. So there's that first of two ways to talk about how to tune in, to do it on your own with questions, to do it with a conversation with one other person, definitely using questions and conversation as a tool for being able to tune into, all right, what are those thoughts I need to care for? What are those emotions? What are those actions that I'm taking, decisions that I'm making that I need to tune into? The third way is in a small group. As I was referring to earlier, that small group, it's the Resilience Coaching Studio every Tuesday evening with Cadre, where I'm able to provide everyone who tunes in, no pun intended, to have a conversation on Cadre. It's cadre.io, CADRE. Wonderful community. They're on a mission to bring more mental health to people, to lower any boundaries of access to mental health. But this group that we had, we were going to just meet online live for about 15 or 20 minutes. It ended up being a powerful hour of encouragement. When a small group gets together, it might be 3 people, it might be 7 or 8 people. The dynamics change in wonderful ways where everyone is having a shared experience, to tuning in to what they need and encouraging each other to both tune in to validate and encourage one another. There's so much freedom. And this is, again, going back to the theme. We're, we're trying to become free from things that are holding us back, holding us in pain, to be able to become free, liberated for our own resilience. And when it's in a small group, just like we saw this past Tuesday night, and what you'll see every Tuesday night, I hope you'll join me at cadre.io and use the app. The app's superb. To It's an opportunity to not only see other people that reveal what they tune into, what they need, such as that question, what do I need to shed? Where it becomes a conversation of both understanding and encouragement. People are better able in a small group setting to encourage themselves, to feel the benefits of the encouragement they receive from others, and the powerful benefit of when you, for example, encourage someone else in the group. You're going to feel an encouragement and energy flow right back that's going to lift you up. It's one of the reasons why I become a resilience coach, is because I experience that when I encourage you and others. And then I see so much goodness come from the way you receive that encouragement and then extend it to others, and how that flows right back to you. So, this is one of the ways in which this is how it looks to not only be resilient, it's resilience in action, but it's also thriving in action. It's resilience in real time. Let me just check to see if there are any other questions and where we are timing wise. We're about half an hour into this is Plan to Be Your Best Live. So I'll summarize this with a question like, what do you need to shed? If you want to be free from something that's holding you back, how to tune in by yourself, where you pause, take some deep breaths, ask yourself a question, and then answer. Write down. I encourage writing down the answers. If you'd like, there's a free worksheet, a free downloadable PDF one-page worksheet. Let me share with you this. If you go to rickcram.com/cadre, CADRE, you'll find two things there. You can download this free worksheet for the 3 steps of resilience that you can use over and over again. Make multiple copies. It's a fillable PDF, so you can use it on your devices. Ow! And write down, follow the prompts of tuning in to the needs of what you're experiencing with your primary sources of pain and the secondary sources of pain that come with it. Then move into the plan step, and then maybe it's your best step. No, it's definitely your best step, is to be your best, to follow through on those positive choices that you're making. And then also at that website, rickcram.com/cadre, you can see the code to use Cadre for free from now until August 15th, 2025. The code is all uppercase, simply Rick Cram, all one word. And I hope to see you there at Cadre. And then secondly, you can tune in by talking with someone else. If you'd like, let's you and I have a conversation. Absolutely complimentary. We'll spend 20 or 30 minutes where it gives me a chance to tune in and show you what active listening and compassion and understanding looks like, and no obligation at all. You can reach me through my website, rickcram.com. So do it one-on-one with someone, tuning in with another person, or in a small group setting, such as you can do at cadre.com, or with me. We can create our own group, or you can take a look and see if the Summer of Resilience, which begins July 9th, might be a match for you. Again, more details, all the details are at my website, rickcram.com. And the very first step would be, if it looks like it's something you're interested in, let's have that conversation. I want to thank you so much, whether you've been with me live through this or if you've been watching this recording. Thank you so much. I hope that you've been able to benefit some goodness from this that helps you with your own unique resilience. And I hope you remember most of all that your best is greater than the pain. I'll look forward to seeing you again.